Well, we had what's called a wedge in place across much of east central Georgia this afternoon, and that kept a lot of central Georgia locked into some foggy conditions. And that continues now in downtown Macon. As you take a live look toward downtown, even though you can't see it, a temperature of 64 degrees, the dew point at 63, indicative of some very moist air, thus the foggy conditions out there. You can kind of see where the wedge was set up today. Notice we have these much cooler temperatures up to the north in the 50s in Jasper County towards Baldwin County and Hancock County. Meanwhile, 70 still down in Americus. Now this wedge is fading away as we have a southerly wind here that continues, and that southerly wind is going to keep our overnight temperatures pretty much where they are now, if not warming across the region. Here's a look at the current visibility numbers. For the most part, everybody below a mile, especially right along the 75 corridor, out 16 and up towards Milledgeville. And because of that, since we last talked, the National Weather Service expanding the dense fog advisory to areas further to the south. As of now, the only counties of our counties that it does not include is Taylor County and Treutlen County, but still probably looking at some fog in those areas. Live radar across central Georgia is quiet, not so much across the eastern two-thirds of the country. There's what's left of the wedge, the boundary of that. Off to our north and to our west, a tornado watch in place from portions of Texas all the way up towards the Chicago area as this front continues to move closer and closer to central Georgia. We've already seen numerous tornadoes tonight and severe thunderstorms up and down this line, this front that continues to move towards the region. Now the front headed towards central Georgia. One more thing, they do have a level 4 risk out in that area tonight, and I'll show you our risk for tomorrow. It's nowhere near that. So the overnight low is going to be right around where we are at midnight in terms of the temperature, so 63 and rising with fog across the area. So let's get into tomorrow, talk about this front and when it's coming to central Georgia. Waking up, you can see these temperatures middle to upper 60s, so warming from where we are now. Then once we get into tomorrow afternoon, could see a few peaks of sunshine. That warms our temperatures up into the 70s, and then here comes this front. Now I want to point out two things on here. One, here's this initial line of storms, but notice how we're getting storms down ahead of it. Those could be indicative of maybe some storms ahead of the front that could also pose a severe risk. So that's what we're watching for. Those storms look to stay towards the south, but the front decaying as it slides through central Georgia. So any severe weather risk we see will be greatest to the north and west, and it will be diminishing as it moves to the south and east. But again, we are not looking at anything like what they're seeing in the middle sections of the country now. So I showed you the level 4 that's in place right now. Tomorrow we only have a level 1 here, and this only includes the far northwestern portions of our area, generally speaking, from Butler up towards Macon, up towards Sparta, and to the north and to the west. Winds could be upwards of 40 to 60 miles an hour, and we could see a brief spin-up tornado, although that is unlikely given the situation that we're in. So it looks like from 3 to about 10 is the highest threat for damaging winds, but you can see on the color scale here, we're not talking about a big severe weather day tomorrow. Beyond tomorrow, we look okay in the weather department. Maybe just a few clouds on Tuesday, not so much on Wednesday, and maybe they're back by Thursday. That's something we'll be watching for in the days ahead. So for tomorrow, we'll see some sun during the afternoon hours before warming up to a high temperature of about 76 degrees. And the warmer we get, the higher the chance of storms gets as that front rolls through. Good news is we are back to our average high by Sunday and Monday.